Alright, Sunday, Memorial Day weekend, halfway house garage. Got this 1964, I think it's 306 horse, 389. Somebody swapped the intake to a two-barrel, obviously, but from what I've found, that code has the date on the back, which is 64, and the casting appears to be a 64, 389, 306 horse, 303 horse, something like that. It is a BOP pattern, which I thought they didn't do that until 65. But it is a block mounted starter. Got a turbo 350 with it. So got a neighbor down the road. He's got an old Scout for that. He had a V-dub based, kind of dune buggy thing that he screwed around in. She probably lived here 20 years, and I'd wave at him. He never stopped by. And I'm like, man, you're doing old cars. I'm doing old cars. Stop by for a beer or something. And one day he stops by, and I noticed he had bought a 73 GMC step side. And so he's like, man, it's got a, whatever it is. It's a small block, 3 on the tree. And he's like, I want to put something cool in it. I'm like, all right, think he probably wants an LS or something, which I probably wouldn't be interested in. But he's like, you want to do a motor swap? I'm like, yeah, what are you thinking? He's like, well, I bought what I think is a 62 389. I'm like, oh, fuck, 389. I'm all ears, So I go check it out. It turns out it's a 64 389. And so I was like, man, why did you want to do a Pontiac? He's like, I just wanted something different, something cooler than, a small block. I'm like, fuck yeah, man, it's right up my alley, especially at 389. So I'm pretty stoked about this. Went and picked it up for, what was it, Friday? Went and picked it up from his place. Got it on the engine stand. He didn't really want to clean it up a whole lot. It's pretty clean. It was out of I want to say he said it was like a 53 or something. I don't remember if it was a Mercury or a Ford or something. So it was running and driving, and they wanted to go a different route, and he was looking for something cool. So he said he heard it run, and I think he even drove it. So it should be a good running motor. I'm going to try to talk him into a 4-barrel and get rid of these shitty-ass fucking fans, and getting rid of the points. But yeah, I'm pretty excited, man. I think it's going to be cool. Put a 4-barrel on that bitch, and it'll fucking scream, man. My opinion, the toughest motors, as far as just, make good power and they're reliable and tough, strong, I would say Pontiac 389 is probably the best. I'd say big block Mopar second, and I'm not a Chevy fan, but big block Chevys are pretty tough. But on the other hand, I like small blocks too. They just, they don't make a whole lot of power, not like a big block, but goddamn, they run forever. I always liked small block Mopars, 318, 360s, even the little 273s. But yeah, I'm pretty stoked to put a 389 in a 73 GMC. It's a step side, pretty cool. It's a long bed step side, which, something different, which is cool. On the other hand, you got the old nail heads, which seem to be pretty finicky and kind of particular, and they make awesome torque. They make pretty good power, and as long as you don't have too much timing or you have good oil pressure, and apparently these like a lot of carburation. So anyway, that's the motor for the wagon. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. And once I finish the Imperial, get the neighbor to bring his GMC over here and try to get this thing swapped out pretty soon. Kind of did some rough measuring and kind of where shit's going to line up, and man, it looks like it's going to fit in there pretty well. Hopefully I can get a picture of the Pontiac motor with the small block side by side, because it's like, people call them big blocks, but if you know Pontiacs, you know big block, small block. I hear that shit all the time, but people just don't know. But this thing compared to a small block Chevy it looks fucking massive. But yeah, it'll be cool. But that engine bay is huge, and even did some rough measuring on these motor mounts versus the ones that are in it. And they seem like it's pretty fucking close, man. I think it's going to work pretty well. So I'm excited. Again, 389, 64. Pretty sweet. And just real quick, while we're talking about Pontiacs, I scored this today from my 59 Star Chief that's out there. 1959 tri-power setup. Way cool. I think these are the original carburetors. Don't have a linkage, but going off the tags, and everything looks right. I'm obviously not an expert. It's really been a long time since I messed with early Pontiacs, but Seems correct to me. Because this one has the tag, which I think is correct. This one doesn't have a tag, but it's identical to that one. And I've always been told that these only idle off the center carb. So I think it's all correct. So obviously I'll clean that up. I'll send it to Lone Star Carburetors and get them to do the carburetors. They do good work, and they're pretty cool dudes, and they're quick, and I think I wouldn't say they're cheap, but they're definitely reasonably priced, and it's going to be right, and if it's not, they definitely take care of it. So, rather than spend, days trying to soak this thing and trying to clean it up and trying to set it up, and I don't really, not a carburetor expert, and they are. I'd rather just pay them to do it right the first time and be done with it. But anyway, cool Pontiac shit. 389. I got all kinds of shit. Man, I used to just buy any kind of multi-carb Pontiac setup. I made these for my 59 when it had dual quads on it. I think it was a 65 center cap that I bolted on and used these little deals, but had dual quad. That was the dual quad intake I had on it originally, but those air cleaners actually fit pretty well. I was running dual 65 Carter AFBs, like 550 CFM, which a lot of people say it's too much carburation. Some people say it's not enough. Then you start talking to Buick people, and fuck, man, they say the more carburation, the better. A lot of people are putting. Give a shout out to the Martins, Matt and Russell, Centerville Auto. They only do nail heads, and they know their shit, man. And they said that even on a 364 stockish 364, put an 850 Edelbrock on that bitch, and it fucking screams. And I don't know if it has to do with the weird chamber or the angle of it or whatever, but man, they fucking love more air, more CFM. So kind of interesting, which I've kind of heard the opposite on Pontiacs. But anyway, that's what's going on. More shit stacking up. Got fucking transmissions and motors, but good old Cummins. Trying to find a good 70s crew cab for that one. Got the 6-speed for it. But to me, there ain't nothing cooler than a nailhead. As much as I love 389s, it's just not. It just doesn't have the cool factor, and I hate that term. But that's just straight up fucking cool. But anyway, that's the 4-speed for the wagon. I've got the pedals somewhere over there, and picked up a set of headers for a Riviera. Look like fucking awesome quality. I'm gonna try them on the wagon. Highly doubt they're gonna work, but it sounds like these stock manifolds work just fine. I think this is a 57 or 58 motor. But anyway, I'll make another video once I get that old GMC over here, and I'd like to kind of knock that thing out, versus the Imperial that I've drug out for years now. And fuck, man, I need some time to work on my own shit. But anyway, see y'all later. I'm gonna get this new battery, new cables, starter, carburetor, oil and filter, and new booster. There's the booster over there. I painted it because it was fucking brand new out of the box, already rusting, so I cleaned it up. I'm gonna paint it. Got one side painted. It doesn't have to be perfect. This thing is just gonna be a ranch truck, but and then maybe next week if I can get it, it was been running off a gas can. It does have a newer fuel pump. I don't know if you can see it, but got it running the first night, so try to get it running on its own again. Probably have to make a run to the store, get some fuel, but yeah, I'd like to get that thing done today. No days off. Actually, I love this shit. It's, I work in a diesel shop and do diesel shit all day, and I come home and seriously don't go inside until about midnight almost every single day. Yesterday was Saturday, I tried to take it easy. I was so goddamn bored. I ended up messing with that 389 and putting it on the engine stand, and then dicked around on Facebook, found this. The dude brought it to me this morning. Went to the store, bought this shit today. Fucked with this thing yesterday a little bit. It actually rained, so I couldn't pull the brakes off. I'm gonna pull that shit off tonight. Try to get the right brakes. Yeah, no days off, and I actually like it. Anyway, see y'all later.